10 smallest countries. Number 1. Smaller than stadium. Under 10 people, yet feared. 10th. Malta. Malta, a southern European island republic of 316 kilometers squared, ranks 5th in world population density. What caused Malta to become so crowded? And what led Malta to launch an astonishing international investment program in 2013? With cash, you can get Malta citizenship and EU passport. Applicants must pass a fit and proper test and either donate 650,000 euros to the National Development and Social Fund, invest 350,000 euros in property, or 150,000 euros in Malta government-approved bonds or shares kept 5 years. This plan wasn't sudden. For 10 years, Malta's geography made it a transit hub for migrants from North Africa's coast. Migrants ride rickety boats, desperate for Europe. In 2012 alone, Malta received a record number of refugees. Wave after wave of outsiders has reshaped Maltese society. Some call it Malta's third siege. First, the Knights of St. John held off the Ottomans in 1565. Second, Italy and Germany bombed the islands in World War II. Unchecked migration now strains this tiny country's limited space and social cohesion. 9th, Maldives. Called paradise. Sun on coral, fresh sea breeze, a soft cosmic touch. Nobody tells you heaven and hell are 6.8 kilometers apart. In this 298 square kilometer nation lies an artificial islet called Thila Fushi, once a lagoon. Over time, it was raised high, not with sand, but with plastic trash of many colors, foul sludge, and rotting fish. Without passing boats bearing local hotel logos, you'd never link it to the paradise you picture in travel ads. Built in 1992, Maldives made this trash island to curb mounting waste. At first, it was small, only a few deep pits buried trash. Yet as Maldives tourism boomed, trash kept rising. Over 20 years, the dump islet swelled until finally a real island formed. Stats: island handles 330 tons trash daily. It grows 1 meter squared every 24 hours. Such a rapid rate of garbage growth has put the island in a state of overload every day, turning it into a real hell. 8th, St. Kitts and Nevis Federation. St. Kitts and Nevis is a Caribbean island federation of St. Kitts and Nevis Islands, about 261 square kilometers. It's the Western Hemisphere's smallest sovereign nation by area and population, and the world's smallest sovereign federation. Its roots reach ancient Amerindians. Arawak and Carib were first settlers, farming and fishing. It wasn't until the Italian explorer Columbus first landed on the island in 1493 and named it St. Christopher that this land gradually became known to the world. Later, British, French, Dutch colonizers arrived. In the 17th and 18th centuries, St. Kitts and Nevis was fought over by Britain and France, ravaging the islands' economy and lives. Meanwhile, the two islands changed hands repeatedly. Then 1783 Treaty of Paris confirmed them as British colonies. By mid-20th century, St. Kitts and Nevis sought independence. Nevis won self-rule first. In 1979 they declared independence, an independent Commonwealth member. After independence, St. Kitts and Nevis saw political shifts and new leaders, forming a federation where each island kept partial local self-rule. Since the late 20th century, St. Kitts and Nevis's economy shifted to tourism. Beaches, clear seas, and natural riches draw visitors, placing it on the tourism map. 7th, Republic of the Marshall Islands. Everyone knows Pearl Harbor late in WWII led to Japan's U.S. atomic bomb retaliation. Attack killed 200,000 plus Japanese. Nuclear fallout left the bombed area uninhabitable. Nuclear weapons devastate people and nature. Yet the U.S. nuked the Marshall Islands, a remote Pacific chain, 67 times. Why was this place nuked repeatedly? Was there a brutal war? Actually, no. The truth is different. The Marshall Islands, in the Pacific, were held by Japan in WWII. After surrender, the U.S. took them fast. Though U.S. and USSR never fought directly in the Cold War, America kept nuking. Marshall Islands became its test site. Before the trial, Locals were evacuated to other areas. For the next 12 years, the island was hit by nukes stronger than Hiroshima's bomb. The blast yield hit 210 megatons, like 2 Hiroshima bombs daily, and radiation already far tops Chernobyl's core zone by tenfold. Unthinkable. In this 181 kilometers squared country, humans would cause catastrophe. Even uninhabited, massive nuclear radiation has long harmed nearby ecosystems, and the damage still hasn't faded at all today yet. 6. Liechtenstein Principality. For most people, a king's throne is out of reach, but in Liechtenstein it's easy there. Bring 80,000 pounds and live your royal dream today. You might not know this country. It's only 160.5 kilometers squared with just over 30,000 people. About 1/3 are Swiss, Austrian, or German. Crime is rare, so there are few cops. Inmates don't escape. They think nowhere else is better than here, and would rather stay in this place. Residents seldom plan to develop abroad. If they do, it's a short drive away. Though small, Liechtenstein is a developed capitalist state with extremely high per capita income. Stamps are this country's backbone. Vaduz prints them, earning the title Stamp Kingdom. Since 1912, it's printed stamps. The National Stamp Museum displays all issues. Must-see for collectors today. It depends on Switzerland for taxes, uses Swiss franc, and delegates defense and customs. People focus on enjoying life, mostly ignoring national affairs. How far does that neglect really go? Hard to imagine. Since 2011, Liechtenstein has rented itself out. Minimum 2 days. 40,000 pounds per day. The lessee may bring up to 150 in and mobilize police during the lease. Renters can sample the prince's cellar reds, ski, ride a carriage through Vaduz, and even print their own portrait on temporary money. Sometimes reality beats fiction in absurd magic. 5th, the Republic of San Marino. San Marino borders Italy, covers just 61 square kilometers, and is among the world's oldest republics. This country's name is unusual, derived from a Christian missionary under the Roman Empire. Christians were persecuted, so Saint Marinus fled Rome for religious freedom and reached Mount Titano in the Alps. Here he founded a monastery, preaching and consoling in old age. Saint Marinus retired to a hermitage, contemplative. As his saintly fame spread, people from everywhere followed him here. San Marino's foreigner took root, and Republic was founded September 301 AD. History repeats. Late in Italy's 19th century unification, San Marino again sheltered supporters under persecution, including Giuseppe Garibaldi and his wife Anita. In World War II, it admitted thousands of refugees. San Marino's religious freedom and independence were vital to shaping and sustaining this nation today. That's why San Marino keeps seeking neutrality and independence. 4th, Tuvalu. What's it like owning a top-level domain? Perhaps Tuvalu's path to wealth can provide a perfect answer to this question. Nearly every country has its own domain suffix, like China's CN and America's US. Tuvalu too got the TV domain in 1995. Oh no. TV would become a top web brand today? Tuvalu, once the Ellis Islands, is a Polynesian nation, 26 square kilometers. In 2017, it had about 11,000 people. World's second smallest. Its territory is just 21.3 kilometers squared. Smaller than a small town abroad. Data show Tuvalu is harsh. Barren soil. No crops. Its economy once entirely depended on exporting bird guano fertilizer. But rising seas shrink its lowlands, hurting the economy. The UN lists it among the least developed. No one expected the internet boom would bring this poorest nation an unexpected windfall. Suddenly, almost overnight. TV is a top-level domain. Tuvalu's code, and a memorable shorthand for television, so it's widely used today. For this unique reason, a US company wanted TV and bought 10-year rights to the domain. After fierce haggling, it sold for an astronomical $50 million total. It shows a top domain matters for companies or personal brands, and a nation's economy can rise by holding such rare assets too. This tiny nation used unique smarts to win surprising internet age success against odds. Third place. Nauru. Can you believe that a country's fortune rested solely on bird droppings? And that country is Nauru. Nauru is a tiny Pacific island nation, just 21.3 square kilometers, smaller than many towns. So even in wartime, few sought to claim it at first, until Germany found treasure there. Unlike most resource-poor Pacific islands, Nauru sits atop vast guano deposits. Over time they chemically turned into rich fertilizer. A phosphate layer up to 10 meters thick called a phosphate mine. It covers 3/5 of the island and stunned the world. Rich minerals inevitably drew predators. For decades, Nauru became virtually a cash cow for colonizers. Not until 1968 did Nauru gain independence, then reclaimed phosphate control. Mined massively, Nauru's short-sighted government mined more than colonizers. Year 1 output beat Germany's 30-year total, becoming Pacific's richest. In the boom, Nauru flaunted luxury, overseas homes, and buyouts. Most projects failed. Government bought Melbourne land, built Nauru House for after phosphate. By 1977, it was the tallest. It launched an airline, bought Boeings, and flew direct to Melbourne and the US, usually empty. Also, generous welfare left most unemployed. Obesity surged. 95% had BMIs above the global average, making it the fattest country. Despite rich phosphate reserves, Nauruans overmined them. As a one-industry nation, the economy soon collapsed, leaving debt and pushing it into black markets. Second, Monaco. In this 2.02 kilometers squared country, legend says a white dove on your sill at Princess Rainier's palace stairs brings true love in Monaco. Like the romance, Monaco's founding is equally legendary too. In 1297, François Grimaldi, posing as a monk, slipped in and seized Monaco. This marked Monaco's monarchy's start. The Grimaldis thereafter became the nation's rulers. Because of its location, Monaco was long fought over by France and Italy. In 1861, Monaco and France agreed to recognize its independence and protect the Grimaldi family. By treaty, if the Grimaldi male line ends, then Monaco becomes French territory. Early 20th century, Monaco built tourism. 1950s brought the famed Monte Carlo casino. This move made Monaco prosper economically. Yet mid-20th century, French President Charles de Gaulle's blockade pushed Monaco's economy into severe trouble. Not until 1959 did Monaco sign a deal with France, ending the blockade and spurring growth. Once world's densest nation, Vatican City. This 0.44 kilometer squared microstate has just over 700 residents, the fewest of any country. Even these 700 plus are real Vatican residents. They're clergy handpicked by the Pope. Once they no longer serve him, the Pope withdraws their citizenship from them immediately. That means Vatican citizenship is among the world's hardest to get. Even if you're born there, or both parents are citizens, you still may not qualify. Though tiny in area and people, the Vatican remains sovereign. Its Catholic standing grants it worldwide clout, rivaling a superpower today. This happens because the Vatican unites church and state. Its head is the Pope, ruling the tiny country and serving as spiritual leader to over 1 billion Catholics worldwide, wielding supreme divine authority. Beyond Catholic halo, Vatican boasts another glorious legacy. Walk into St. Peter's Basilica and the Vatican museums. Borders fade as murals, relics, and art evoke Rome's Renaissance. St. Peter's Basilica exemplifies Renaissance and Baroque design, shaped by Michelangelo, Ramonti, and Raphael, and required 120 years to build. Vatican museums hold countless artworks and relics, spanning from ancient civilizations to modern art. Raphael, Michelangelo, and ancient Roman and Greek art. Number 0. Sealand. Gaining citizenship is usually tough, and joining a government harder. But to enter the Principality of Sealand, pay £19.99 and get a Title II. Hard to believe. This country is 0.0055 kilometers squared, smaller than a stadium, under 5 residents. Yet 50 years old, the Bates Royals span 2 generations. Sealand has a flag, crest, stems, currency, and a constitution. And the old king once took a gun to quash a coup epic. In 2007, reports said the country was for sale. £65 million could buy its sovereignty and throne, briefly topping headlines. Michael succeeded. Sealand's prestige rose even higher. Brexit pushed many Britons to join Sealand. For 19.9 you buy a title. Selling titles and plots online earns Prince Michael's family 6 figures yearly, living comfortably. Plus, Sealand is so tiny that no nation cares who owns it. Conquering it would cost more than it's worth, creating illusion nobody dares challenge it. So, did Sealand become the smallest country in the world? Actually, not so. Sealand's independence isn't widely recognized by major nations, and many dismiss it as mere dinner table chatter. That's it for today's video. Of these 11 tiniest countries, which one stuck with you most after hearing them all? Tell us in the comments below.